Hey guys, what's up? This is Koganinja. In this video, what this video is going to be, this is going to be a complimentary video for the XYZ axis video, okay? And what this video is going to be about, it's learning to identify what your dice are doing. You have to be able to identify what your dice are doing, because if you don't, you'll never be a controlled shooter, okay? It's very, very important that you know at all times what your dice are doing. If you don't know what your dice are doing, then what's the business? What are you even doing here? You know what I mean? So, as explained in the XYZ axis video, if you throw the dice and you see 1s and 6s, that means that one of those dice or both of those dice flipped over, rotated on top of itself on the y-axis, okay? So if you see a 1 or a 6 on either die or both, that means it toppled onto itself on the y-axis, okay? Now, if you see one of those dice, if let's say you're in a axis specific dice set, such as the hard way set, okay, and you throw and you end up with a 4-3 or a 5-2, that means that your dice stayed on axis, but one of those dice double pitched, meaning it moved, one of those dice moved its face 2 times forward or backward versus the other one, okay? So if it did that, you stayed on axis, but you didn't, it double pitched is what it did, okay? So there you go. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some shots, and I'm gonna, about 10 or 12 shots, and then as I shoot, I'm going to tell you what the dice are doing. That way you'll be able to know for yourself what the dice are doing at that specific time, okay? All right, so here we go. And also know that if you're hitting numbers, in other words, you're not hitting 7s, you're hitting all the other numbers but the 7, but you're doing like, you're hitting like a 6-4, just because one of the dice went off axis doesn't mean it's still a bad thing. As long as you're hitting numbers, you're good. You're just hitting off axis numbers is what's happening, okay? You're hitting off axis numbers. So, and if you're hitting, and if it's not a 7, good for you. Good for you, bad for the casino. All right, here we go. Here's shot number 1. And these are, I'm setting for the hard way set. Okay, that stayed on axis. So, because there's the guy, I hit a hard way right there, and then you see then you can see the 6s right there. Okay, so that's a good shot right there. Okay, shot number 2. Again, hard way set. Okay, one of those dice went off of axis, and that was this one right here, but I still hit an off-axis number, so I'm good. And like I said, guys, you need to understand what your dice are doing. If you don't understand what your dice are doing, you're in a lot of trouble, especially if you got money on the line. Here we go. Shot number 3. Okay, right there. Guess what happened? I hit a 4-3. My dice stayed on axis. However, see, if you look right there, there's the 1, there's the 6, but I hit a 7. So what that means is one of those dice pitched forward 2 times. I double pitched on that shot. Not good. And maybe in another video I'll go over on how to correct for double pitching. Okay. All right, here we go. Now this is another shot. I think this is 4, shot number 4. Okay, 1 off of axis, 1 stayed on. Okay, but I still hit a number, so good for me. No 7s. You know, when you're in a casino, you want to be doing that all day long. Here we go. This is shot number 5. Okay, that's a 6. And that is an on-axis number, so that's good. And that was actually a textbook shot right there. It bounced off of the back wall and stayed within my 12-inch rule, so I'm good to go. That was a very, very good shot. Okay, here we go again. That had way too much energy. That shot doesn't count, so do it again. Okay, I hit a 9. So there's the 5 there. There's the 4 there. So it stayed on axis. So that's good. All right. Another shot. Okay. Big time bad. Guess what happened? Both of those dice went off of the axis and ended up on the y-axis, okay? In other words, those dice toppled onto each other. So I got a 6-1, really bad, okay? All right, this will be the last shot right here. We'll close this video out. And I hope that you know by now what you should be looking at and how to identify what your dice are doing. Okay, guys, this is the last shot right here. Let's see what I get. Shooting with the hard way set. Oh, too much energy. You know what? Let's do that one more time. I want to close out with a good shot. That was too much energy on it. Well, again, too much energy. All right, we'll do one more. Did stick together like glue all the way until it hit. So we'll do one more. Hopefully we'll get it here. Get on this last one. There we go. And that was a good closeout right there. So we got a 4-2, and that closes it out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much. Koganinja out.